everybody, and welcome back to the Long Island Railroad route, Trainz 2019. I'm your host, Empire State Rail. It has been a month. I do apologize. I'm going to tell you guys why, and I just want to make this very clear. It's not 43 minutes. A good amount of it is, all right, let's go with 40 minutes. New record for longest episode, 43 minutes plus the cinematics. So, I spoiled the surprise. We have cinematics. Low frame rate as usual because God forbid my MacBook be able to do anything. In fact, if you actually start to hear a whirring sound in the back, that's the laptop going haywire because God forbid I do a little bit of voiceover. Anyway, welcome back. I'm so sorry that it has been a month. I was working on the route and I just kept getting frustrated by the lack of progress. As I was recording episodes, I kept saying to myself, this isn't enough. I can't do Main Street and have that be one episode. And I was looking back and I was looking at Approach Medium, because Approach Medium is, the reason why he's like the gold standard for all this is because he is one of the few people who has, a whole catalog of Speedbuild and everything. And you see it, and he knocks out these places in a day. And sometimes if they're bigger areas, he'll do it in multiple episodes. But he really does knock, when I say a day, I mean in an episode. He knocks them out in an episode. And I said to myself, well, I'm not going to have like one block of Mineola be done and then call that an episode. I said, you know what? I am not going to upload another episode until I finish Mineola. Ladies and gentlemen, why am I saying ladies? We all know that there's not a single woman watching this. Gentlemen, I have finished Mineola in this episode. I know, it's amazing. Thank fucking Christ. I did it. I did it. I did it. And it's, wow, what a relief. It's this weight off my back. I was very, it was a very daunting task to me, seeing Mineola and constantly going into Google Maps. And more towards the end, if I don't forget, I am going to forget. So, the whirring noise kicked in, by the way. It's light. If it gets heavier, oh well. With me for the journey today is Turkey Hill Pink Lemonade. Not sponsored. I'm just saying. The first episode, the reason why I was able to get through the voiceover is because I had that caffeine spike. And granted, this isn't caffeine, but it's a cold, refreshing drink that has sugar in it. So, This is how much is this? Half a gallon, 64 ounces. Yeah, I'm not gonna pour this into a glass. I'm just gonna drink out of the half gallon, whatever the hell. You know what I mean? Like, who cares, man? We're doing this voiceover. We're getting this done. So I'm very sorry that the Wednesday schedule lasted for 4 episodes. But again, I really wanted to be able to show you guys something. I didn't want to be spending like 10 episodes on Mineola. I wanted to be able to just have it done. Now, there is actually going to be a discussion with some of my peers, I guess you could say. But if you guys also have ideas as to what to do. There's this kind of like looming thing of like, okay, I have Mineola done now, and I really do not want to do any more suburbs. I am done. I am sick of it. The grids in the houses, in the frame rates, in the urban areas, in the parking lots. There are so many fucking parking lots. I'm done. I don't want to do any more goddamn parking lots. Unfortunately, I'm doing a route of Long Island. All there is suburbs and parking lots. So that kind of leads us into the next thing of, well, what should the next episode be? Now, and an idea I'm floating around is maybe take a break and do track layout. And by track layout, again, due to the fact that I'm not using actual satellite imagery data because, MacBook, I'm handicapped. Because of that, I'm, going to have to eyeball it and everything. But maybe you guys can come along with me and see how the eyeballing process works. But I think, I'll use the ruler tools because, man, those things really help. Ruler tools and, of course, stacking M7s together. So that's that. I guess I'll talk a little bit about what you've just watched for the last 6 minutes and what's going on now. Before I forget, though, we have a couple screenshots from the Sunset Collection. He is doing the Hicksville and Huntington part of the line. He's working on Huntington, as you can see in these photos. I'm going to write a little timestamp here. And yeah, it's basically, it's all coming together. I was writing on my phone. It's all coming together. We're having the Hicksville and Huntington part, which again was not even originally part of the extension, right? And it's great. Now that we'll be able to go to Huntington, that's a new stretch. And again, we're going to go to Floral Park, and we're going to backtrack to the Hempstead line. And that's the plan. That's the plan. Sorry, anyway, so I'm supposed to be describing what's going on here. I'm building a post office. Okay, that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Again, Mineola, it's this very interesting thing of being extremely unique in terms of its buildings and such. And so, we're going to always have to take some liberties when it comes to Trainz. And I've also kind of realized this thing where, I was so anal about detail when it was the stations. And I might have mentioned this in the last episode, but again, the new philosophy in this really is the farther away it is from tracks, the less detail and effort has to be put in. So, for example, no one's really going to be looking at these main streets. So I don't have to put down post offices and, post boxes, fire hydrants. I'll go over and I'll add street lamps to them. Night mode, I think, should be like a totally different thing. I have a whole lighting setup I got from the Approach Medium Discord server. Thank you very much, boys. That was great. I'm going to use that for night mode, but I think that should be done for the final. It should be like when the entire route is done. When that extra layer of detailing kind of goes after, like, for example, the cars and people. That will be added once I just want to have just almost a picture locked is basically, oh god, that was a film term, I'm so sorry. Picture locked and then a fine cut. So the fine cut will be the people, the cars, the night mode experience, you know what I mean? Extra details. But the picture lock will just be, okay, here it is. Not even bare bones, but just here is the base layout. It is devoid of people and it is devoid of cars and details. That will happen afterwards, right? So what I'm doing here is, again, farther away from the track, less I have to care about. The parking lots and just lots in general in Mineola just started to get like very annoying, and size-wise, it was just kind of stressing me out. And yeah, those condos and those apartment buildings don't look exactly like how they do, but it's more about just the size of it and the placement of where it is on the block that I really care about. So sure, the post office does not really look like that, but I have to make do with what I have. But the reason why I'm making this intersection look nice and kind of going out with the post office and the church is that's an area I walk by a lot, and that's also, the post office is a very well-known part of Mineola. That church is very nice, though. In the spring, they have the cherry blossoms, which grow, and I think that's just really special, and that's something I wanted to put those trees on the sidewalk. I have a very nice picture me and my mother took under those trees, so that was just something, me personally, I wanted to put in the game. So I can always look back and I can always remember. So, I widened the sidewalk there and everything. What are you going to do, Sumi? We're going to take another swig from the pink lemonade. Not the greatest. My favorite, when it comes to all these flavors, I feel like Snapple does it the best. Snapple is amazing. Expensive, yes, but it's because of the taste, man. It's really well made. It's extremely well made. And hey, Snapple facts, those are, that's great. Hey, I had no idea. When I was a kid, right, you got like a leg up on some of this stuff, knowing that George Washington was the first and only president to be unanimously elected. Now, granted, that was because the Electoral College really just comprised of Congress. Anyway, I'm not going to geek out on you guys. That helped in elementary school, because then when the teacher asked, I could be like, oh, boom, Snapple fact. Perfect. Worked out perfectly. This weird kind of like inner city block thing in real life, it's just kind of like a drab thing, but again, because the storefront asset buildings, that line of buildings are so thin, I guess you could say. They're not really thick. They don't go out a lot. They're pretty small. This is the largest human atrocity, but I'm gonna continue talking about the inner city block. Anyway, that inner city block is just kind of like a bunch of crap. It's not even really empty, but it's just like some cars and everything. But again, those buildings are just, granted, maybe I made the block too big, or maybe the buildings are just too small. The proportions are all wonky because you're dealing with pre-made assets and you're trying to replicate real life. So anyway, biggest human atrocity here. Winthrop Hospital. It is a human atrocity. Not the real hospital, but yeah, what I'm doing to it in this game. It's not, you see, the thing is, like, when you're standing on the corner, and again, this goes into the whole proportions thing when it comes to trains. When it comes to elevation and everything, the subtle, like, ups and downs in real life, you can't get in the game. So if you do an up or you do a down, it's extremely noticeable, and it's not small. So the result of that being Winthrop Hospital in this game is now submerged to be flat. Because in real life, there's that hill that you see there, that little incline isn't really there. Most of that incline is just kind of from the bridge, but it's just such this like complex thing, all because of the subtleties of hills and elevation, in the world that aren't really accurately replicated in this game. And that's that, but I didn't want to have the building clip through the wall, so I said, okay, you know what? I'll just do this weird thing of, sinking the building and adding this weird elevated sidewalk. Anyway, so that's the deal with, this human atrocity. Listen, if there's any Winthrop nurses who are watching this, which I seriously doubt, if there's anyone working in Winthrop who is seriously offended by it, go ahead and make a Winthrop asset yourself. You know what? Just do me a favor. Make an asset, or, just do the whole thing route. I don't care, man. You got an issue with it? Too bad. This is what you get. If there's a way we can rework it and change it, sure. Until then, get off my back. I'm not happy with it either, but you get what you get, and you're playing the game for the trains. So if you're a little, pissed off about the whatchamahoots, the unrealistic interpretation of Mineola, please by all means make your own route, because take a load off my back. However, I am I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. And this is my gift, my curse. And if any of you guys got those references, God bless you. Please get off your laptop and go touch some grass. Let's see, what else? What else is going on here? Just winter, but we're gonna cut to a new clip really soon. So, yeah. Sorry. Give it a couple of seconds. Oh, I had to do a money shot, really, of Winthrop. Okay. All right. That was a little goofy. Oh no! Is this when I start extending the grids? Oh no, it is. Yes. So, I have extend all those suburbs. Right. I knew I'd have to get to it one day, and that was the day I decided to do it. I said, "All right, you know what? It's happening." And it gets refined later on in the clips you'll see. But, yeah, that was the main chunk of Mineola that I was not really worried about. It was just something that I was so not looking forward to doing. But, again, as I said before, the farther away you are from the tracks, the less effort I'm going to put in. And this is something you're going to speed by, right? When you're at a train station, everything, you're stopping and you're looking around, you're picking up passengers, right? So that's when the details are going to be most noticeable for you. So when you're driving by houses and houses and houses and houses, you know, whatever, it's all just a blur, right? And hey, if you're doing this in first person mode, definitely going to be a blur for you. All the Trainz Sim Classic guys who want to take a whiff at this Trainz route, I'll tell you what, man, it is so, like, every time I watch a Trainz Sim Classic, the Dovetail game, every time I watch one of those, like, videos and everything, it's always first person. I don't understand that. I feel like Trainz players, I feel like we do stuff in third person. I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority about that stuff, but I like being able to see the train that I'm driving on the outside because that's such like a cool feature, and being able to like look around and everything. But I feel like when you're in the cab, you're restricted, and sometimes I'll play cab mode too. If I want to really have like an immersive experience, I'll change the weather settings and I'll set up like a little like shunting session or something. I do that a lot, and it's fun sometimes. I'm in the mood for it. And late at night and everything, you're talking to yourself, and let's ignore the talking to yourself thing. But, you're coming up with your own session, your head and everything, and that's great. But, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it is just me, who knows. Anyway, what else, what am I thinking to? I'm talking to a couple people, and if anyone else would like to step in and help, I really appreciate it. We need some reskins, right? We need some reskins and new models, I guess. I'm looking into seeing who can commission stuff for, preferably, the M7s are extremely old and outdated. Now, if anyone has a commission at a fair price, and fair price meaning not $200, fair and affordable price for doing a model, then we'll talk about it. As long as the model will be free for everyone to use, then that'll be that. But I am in some talks with some people to do some reskins of Jeeps and stuff like that, and coaches, and not necessarily freight cars, just Jeeps and stuff like that, for the Long Island Railroad. One of the big things that I want to do is I want to get some sort of a newly done M7 and P72 coaches, because we have the MP54 trailing cars, the ping pongs. We have those from K&L. I was going to say Jointed Rail, my bad. K&L made those. Now, those are good. However, I understand if not everyone wants to spend money on that, and even still, those ping pong coaches don't go with every era. The P72s, it goes like this. You have like the old Pullman, like standard cars, right? Then you have the ping pongs, then you have with the orange and gray, and then you have the P72s, and then you have the EMUs. You have your M1s, your M3s, your M7s, your M9s, and your DE, DM30 ACs, and the C3 bi-level cars, right? Now, the bi-levels, probably not going to happen. Those are just a little bit much. So, yeah, when it comes to stuff like New York regional railroads, New York City regional railroads really get screwed. Like, there hasn't been a New York City subway asset. The only ones that everyone always uses are from 2004. We're coming up on 20 years old, which is ridiculous. So, you know, the fact that there hasn't been like a newer subway model since 2004 is sad to say, nonetheless. I'm working on Jericho Turnpike here, and the suburb grids, I'm just checking them, and later I'm going to go through with the ruler tool and make sure that they're all in line. Right now I'm just making sure that they're all in place. I'm about to start using the ruler tool now. That way, if I align them by grid and I had them be an even distance, it would be great, because that would mean that I could just be able to copy and paste stuff. And that saved me so much time, because there was no way in hell I was ever going to house by house place down a new thing. No way, man. So, anyway, going back to it, the Long Island Railroad stuff is really, K&L did a great thing with the MP54s. That was a real treat, you know. And then we have the G5 steam locomotives, but that's it. It's very period. Go figure. It's K&L, right? And that's not shade at all. I love K&L. I really do. That's not any shade at them. I'm just saying, a lot of people are also going to be to be able to drive or simulate or whatever the term is you want to use in a later era. And so that's where the P72s come in, and other stuff like the Alcos and the Jeeps, and you know, those are also really old and outdated, the ones on the download station. So I would like to talk to some people about perhaps doing reskins or new models of that. That would be absolutely fantastic. Whew, wow, all right. That was a mouthful. Oh, boy. All right, 23 minutes in. I gotta do this for another 20 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. The grids. That's what I'm doing here. Suburbs. House after house after house. I was really contemplating whether or not to even put this in the video, but I said, you know what? No one has really done suburbs before in a speed build. You know, just as there's not even really any commuter routes and trains. Thus, as a result, there are no suburban routes. And I thought it would be interesting to kind of see a little bit of the process of that grid pattern. Sometimes when you see the suburbs, they're done, you know, there's no sidewalks and the roads are just kind of there. I don't know. I'm just speaking from my experience with older routes and everything. And so, you know, I wanted to be able to I use the Approach Medium House Pack. Great. They're so awesome. They really are. I mean, before that, you had the JR low-level ones, which those are good too, but again, I feel like those fit more of like a rural country thing rather than like, you know, sprawling suburbs. The AM ones are great for that. So thank you very much, Mr. Medium. I appreciate that a lot. So I'm using that pack, and it's free to download, by the way, so I'll make sure, you know, I'll have a dependency pack or however the hell I release this in, you know, 50 million years, and I'll just make sure I have everything there for you guys. But I thought it would be an interesting sight to see how the suburb grids are just, planned out and everything. And again, I copy and paste the houses because no way in hell am I placing down every house individually. Not happening. So again, I don't even really use the ruler tool a lot. But for this, to make sure that everything was even and equal, I wanted to make sure that when I copied and pasted stuff, it wouldn't be out of whack. I didn't want houses kind of going in the streets. I wanted it to be, I knew it wasn't going to be, every single spot at the same time. It's just not how it works. But if I could get it like within the block, then that'd be fine. If it was a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, or a little bit up or a little bit down, that's fine. Because then I could just do some minor tweaking. I could just drag the houses a little bit. And it's so much easier to do that, and it made my life a lot easier. And it is the reason why I was able to kind of bang this out. I finished it 2 days ago, and that was great. Speaking of commuters and, 2 days ago, the Northeast Corridor had a track fire. I'll tell you what, that was the worst. I never go into New Jersey. That was the worst possible day I could have picked to go to Princeton. That is the worst possible day. I was visiting family. Me and my dad were like, oh yeah, we'll go on Wednesday. Okay. Horrible. Why? Oh my gosh. They shut down Trainz. For anyone who doesn't know, what happened was yesterday, March 22nd, 2023. I believe it was 2 or 3 track fires along the line, trackside fires along the line. It was Edison, Metro Park, and something else, and it shut down service on the busiest rail corridor in North America, if not in the world. It was shut down. And of course, the most important part, New York to Philadelphia, because that is a heavy commuter. That is the lifeline to like New Jersey, because you have commuters coming in from Philly trying to go home, and then you have commuters going from New York trying to go home. Those are 2 major Eastern Seaboard cities that just got fucked. Oh man, me and my dad are like waiting at the thing, and we're like, oh god, what do we do? And we're on Google and everything, and Jersey Transit is just like, services suspended. Replacement buses? Nah. It's like, oh, they'll cross on our buses, right? It's like, there's no buses in Princeton, according to Google. Google, like, Princeton buses, and you got one bus that goes to Trenton, right? But it doesn't even matter going to Trenton, because what the fuck are you going? You're going A, away from New York, and B, it's like, well, you can't take the train from Trenton anyway, and there's no buses going from Trenton to New York. So my dad is like, all right, we're just gonna have to wait it out and everything. Let's see and everything. And he's like, all right. In the meanwhile, let's go get something to eat. Just walk around town. Of all the towns we could have been stranded in, Princeton, we got lucky. It's a very nice town, very nice university and campus. And we were walking around, we see a bus stop, and we think that's the one New Jersey Transit bus that goes to Trenton and everything. And we go look at the sign, and we're like, yeah, it's the 606 bus. But then beneath it, there's this thing, and it says 100 Suburban to New York. And we're like, huh? What? And then I Googled that, and I was like, oh shit, Coach USA, thank God, operates a direct bus from Princeton to New York. Hallelujah. Straight into the Port Authority bus terminal. Thank Jesus. Oh, so we waited an hour. We got something to eat. The bus came at 8. Got there 9:45. I don't care, man, because guess what? Some trains resumed limited service, and I heard that it was really bad because of equipment availability or something. It was so stupid. They're standing around the whole time. Now all of a sudden they don't have any goddamn trains. Anyway, so we were there and everything, and I believe it was this morning, the 20th, it was the day after, 12 hours afterwards, that they fully resumed service between Trenton and New York, which is just crazy to believe. And I looked at the photos of the fires. They're trackside fires. One of them was an old trestle off of a siding. Seriously. What, you have to shut down the business corner because of the fire? Come on. It wasn't even near the track. It had been taken out like 2 hours in. Like, there was like barely any fire left. Like, oh, because of the smoke, you're not going to let trains go by? It was so dumb. It was so stupid. Oh my God. They should just close down like whatever the closest station was to the fire and just be like, all right, everyone else go through. Amtrak was terminating trains at Washington, which was a dumbass idea of them. Really was. You know, then I look at that and I kind of go, you know what? Maybe the Long Island Railroad ain't so bad after all. Because I remember when there was a track fire, I was going back home from school and everything, and rush hour and everything. There was a track fire near Hillside. And I'll tell you what. I mean, it was like an hour. And, you know, it was delayed for like an hour and a half, right? Because it's like the 30 minutes of not even panic, but the 30 minutes of like, okay, there's a big, you know, that was a sizable track fire because it was a waste facility that went on fire. So it's one big dumpster fire, literally one big dumpster fire right by the tracks. And, you know, it's 30 minutes of like, okay, like, what do we do and everything? So they stopped the trains and everything, and that was 30 minutes of like the information kind of getting through. And then an hour where they're like, all right, we're not going to run any trains through the area. Let's let the fire department deal with it and put it out. And then they put it out. And then trains went by. So it was an hour delay compared to New Jersey Transit and Amtrak. Now, I don't know about Amtrak, but New Jersey Transit, 12 hours. You had to wait until the morning to fully resume service. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is some bullshit. I'm sorry, if the Long Island Railroad does something right and you don't, that is sad. That is not even just sad. That is pathetic. Seriously. Oh my God. That was fine. I remember going through and everything. It was like, yeah, that wasn't bad at all. I'll tell you what. I mean, New York commuter railroads, right? I mean, we hate them. We despise them. They're late and they're annoying and we don't like it. But I'll tell you what, the second I go anywhere else and then something else happens and it's handled in a much worse way, I say, you know what, maybe it's not all that bad. You know, I mean, countless things have happened on the railroad and everything, and then you look at it, at how that situation plays out on other commuter lines, and you go, wow, that actually wasn't even that bad. I remember when a bomb went off at Port Authority, 42nd Street. I was in sophomore. I was sophomore, or might have even been junior year of my high school and everything, pre-COVID and stuff, obviously. But man, a bomb went off at Port Authority, and I'm waiting on the platform of the A train. No, it was the E train. Sorry, waiting on the platform of the E train, and no trains running and everything. I'm like, what the hell do I do and everything? And my dad is like, don't panic, bomb went off. And I was like, oh, all right. But, you know, they were able to, you know, the cops got it. Luckily, no one died, by the way. No one died, which was good. The bomb had, you know, I wonder if I'm going to get flagged for mentioning a bombing at Port Authority in this video. Oh, well, I guess we'll have to find out the tough way. Anyway, bomb goes off and everything, and prematurely exploded, and it was some weird thing. And it was minor injuries too. It wasn't even anything crazy. Thank God, really. Thank God. And it went off in the passageway between 7th and 8th Avenue. And which it's yeah. But that was only like an hour or two, which is pretty bad, right? But you know, it's an active crime scene, a terrorist thing. So you know, they had to like make sure and everything. But then they made sure, and then it was all good, and then you resume service. Imagine if something like that happened on Jersey Transit. Listen, if a couple track fires, you know, delay service for like 12 hours, a bomb is gonna like permanently shut down Jersey Transit. Like seriously, it's ridiculous. Here's the copy and pasting of the suburb houses. We're gonna stop talking about acts of terrorism now and fires. This is the copy and paste method I was talking about before. I totally neglected when we were building the Chaminade High School. Chaminade, and that is the Memorial Park Again, loose interpretations, but it's super far away from the tracks. Be happy I even put it in. And this is exactly what I mean. You're able to just adjust the houses. And you're able to just push things off to the side. But other than that, it's pretty on the mark. And that's exactly what I was looking for when I was making these grids. I set it up in advance. So basically, bullet points when you do this. Have the grids all be the same. And when I mean same length, I mean, same street length. Obviously, you can see some are wider and shorter and everything. But that's fine because then you're able to just copy and paste it. You do like 2 or 3 grids. You boom, boom, boom. You get those out. You swap directions a couple times to kind of break it up a little bit. And you're good. You're golden. You got yourself some suburbs. Because you just copy and paste it. You throw some trees in and everything. And it doesn't look the same. It gives you that sort of sense that, this is different. This isn't, a copy and paste. You don't really notice that when you're doing 70 miles an hour down the main line. So, yeah. Would I recommend doing it? If it's necessary, it's necessary. If you don't have to do it, please don't do it. Please do not do it. Oh, yeah, so before when I said I had finished MINEOLA, I lied. I did and I didn't. I finished this section of MINEOLA. I finished this main grid, but I did not do... I actually don't know what the name of this road is. The one that goes under the the main line. Let's look right now. Da-da-da-da. All right, take your guesses. Take your guesses. It is Herrick's. I would have never have guessed that. Oh, it goes from... That's funny. The name of the road is actually Rockaway Avenue. Oh, yeah, because it's weird. It's like this weird blend. It's like Marylawn Avenue, then it becomes Rockaway Avenue, then it becomes Herrick's Road, and then it splits off and becomes Old Country Road. That confused you. I'm very sorry. And I'm a little bit confused myself. But anyway, Herrick's Road is the name of the road that goes under the main line there, which you saw. Now, I didn't finish that, and that's sort of a conjunction between because I just wanted just to get this over with. Now, and there's also some other things that are not done. For example, the specific assets that I need, such as that transportation center. Oh, and everything south of the tracks and everything east of the Oyster Bay branch is untouched. That is something I will do another time. I just wanted to get this big... This is the main chunk of MINEOLA. This really is. This is the main chunk of MINEOLA. This is an interesting strategy too, by the way. I forget why I did it here. I don't know. Yeah. Because I wasn't... I was starting a new copy and paste with this. And this is a good idea, actually. Setting... you set the houses up, you line them up, and then... I did some snow tracks, which was good because it was distinctly obvious to see the lines. And you just kind of get houses and you kind of put them in a bunch of different places. And it's really good for having everything kind of be even and in line. This is a good suburb strategy too. So use that as well for when you're making your copy and paste, your original, like copy and paste source. Is a good idea. That way everything's in line, and then afterwards you go around and you turn them and you make sure that they face the same way. But it's that nothing is either too much to the left or too much to the right, and that way they're not uneven. And I did all right the other times and everything, but just considering that I wanted a fresh copy and paste batch, that's what I decided to do. So we are coming up on 39 minutes. Yeah, we're coming up on... This is going to end, and I'm pretty sure it's one more... Oh, yeah, then it's adjusting the tracks. The reason why I stopped recording was because the battery was getting low, and the frame rate was also just becoming unbearable. Now, that's not because of the route itself. Again, MacBook. Handicapped. Screen recording, low battery, and you're on a MacBook. Frame rate is not going to do so well. Money shot. There you go. It's the money shot right there. Right, and then this is it. This is the road. That's Herrick's Road, passing underneath it. And that is the main line. So that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you so much for joining with me today. If you watched this whole video, God help your soul. You must be as bored as I am to have watched 40 minutes of my schizophrenic ramblings. God help you. I hope you get a girlfriend. I really do. Anyway, Cinemax coming up. Thank you all so much. I will see you sometime soon. Goodbye.